You'll remember the case of Hamit Coskun. He was prosecuted after setting fire to a Quran, his own Quran, outside the Turkish consulate. He fled Turkey himself following persecution. He was accused of posing a threat to public order after burning the book in February. He said it was a peaceful protest. He was actually violently attacked by a man who allegedly slashed at him with a knife before kicking him after he fell to the ground. He was on trial at Westminster Magistrates Court, accused of public order offences, accused of carrying out disorderly behaviour within the hearing or sight of a person likely to have caused harassment, alarm or distress by burning a copy of the Quran. It was also claimed that he was motivated by hostility towards members of a religious group, namely the followers of Islam. The verdict has just been given, pronounced guilty at the court of that crime. I have to say an awful lot of us, he wasn't prosecuted under a blasphemy law because we don't have one in this country anymore. But this feels like it is a blasphemy prosecution, does it not? Sam Armstrong, not only a Conservative commentator, you also do a lot of work with the Free Speech Union. You've been very much involved in this case with Hamit Coskun. Talk us through this verdict.
Well, the first thing is to say we do now have a blasphemy law in this country. That is the undeniable logic of this verdict. It says you cannot express strident, trenchant criticisms of Islam in the way that you would like, which includes the desecration of holy books, because of the reaction, because of the likely extreme reaction of Muslim people in this country. And in a sense, that's fair. When Hamit Coskun acted in this way, he was immediately the victim of a, in my view, terroristic attack in which he was slashed at with a knife by an attacker that we can't name for legal reasons, who is being prosecuted, but who has been prosecuted, frankly, for an incredibly unserious charge that doesn't meet the conduct, in my view, of what he did. There was an inordinate amount of two-tier justice that we're seeing here.
What's the surprise?
But what we're seeing is very clear. If you burn a Quran, they're going to haul you before the courts. He's only going to get a fine, but they reserve the right to arrest you when they do it.
I think most of us would say, as a general rule, wouldn't go around burning other people. I wouldn't go around burning any book, but burning other people's holy books. But I don't think there would be an arrest if he'd burnt a Bible.
No, and we should be very clear. The judge said it was especially provocative because of Muslims.
He actually said that.
He said that Hamit Coskun should have protested in a less provocative way.
But he wasn't protesting outside a mosque. He was protesting outside the Turkish consulate. He himself had fled Turkey because of persecution. What is his background? Why was he being persecuted?
He was persecuted because he's Armenian, he was persecuted because he was Kurdish, and he was persecuted because he'd repeatedly protested against the Islamisation of Turkish politics. He has
which is certainly happening.
He was the victim of a terroristic attack. His brother was murdered. He had spent 10 years in Turkey as a political prisoner. This man fled to the United Kingdom thinking he would be free, thinking that he would be able to express himself here freely.
And it was a book, so it was a book that he had bought, that he owned.
Correct.
And he was making a political protest.
Yes.
I thought our freedom of speech and freedom to protest legally, I thought that was protected
and by the
law.
right,
clearly not.
You have the right to burn a flag, to desecrate the flag in this country. That case was argued before the Court of Appeal. Who argued that case that said you should be able to burn a flag as a young barrister?
Keir Starmer?
One young Keir Starmer. He, in fact, argued that case wearing a pair of Stars and Stripes underpants that he sat down on as he was arguing at each point of that case. In this country, there is two-tier justice. If you're making a left-wing political protest, do what you like.
Blasphemy laws were you can walk around with a Hezbollah or a Hamas flag quite happily. An ISIS flag, it would appear in this country. It's supposed to be against the law, but police won't intervene if you're on an anti-Israel protest. But blasphemy laws were got rid of, but only a few months ago we had a Labour backbench MP, a Muslim, get up and speak and say about how we should bring in blasphemy laws to protect offending Muslims with the Quran. And the Prime Minister did not say, no, we don't believe in blasphemy laws, we wouldn't do that in this country. Freedom of speech is the right to criticise all religions, fundamental part of freedom in a democracy. He kind of nodded along, didn't he? That was a very worrying moment.
And I know why, and you know why, and everyone listening along to this knows why, and everybody knows why Hamit Coskun was prosecuted, as are a number of other cases before the courts, which is in July last year, Keir Starmer saw a great result everywhere except where? Except in inner cities where Labour had a strong track record, where they lost 5 seats to quote-unquote pro-Gaza independence. We know what that means. We know what's being spoken about. The Prime Minister is terrified of aggravating a small chunk of people in this country who are not Muslim, who are not peace-loving people, but believe in Islamist politics, who believe in imposing a political view based upon their religion. This Prime Minister is terrified of upsetting them because he knows he could lose more seats at the next election. He knows he might need them, given how many votes he's losing left, right and centre to reform. And as a result, he is attempting to impose a de facto blasphemy law, the type of which we have never known in this country.